This episode is brought to you by thebabatradingco.com. Every journey begins with the bag you pack. The Men's Rise bag is smart, sleek, and sophisticated. Let us help lighten the load. Visit us now at thebabatradingco.com. That's THEBABA tradingco.com.
Today on the Chat and Chew Show.
So tell us about Sacred Hum, like what does Sacred Hum mean, and then what's behind the album?
Sure. Sacred Hum, and you can go to sacredhum.com as well, and it gives you more information on it. The idea of Sacred Hum is entering into that place of solace, of solitude.
Hip-hop is probably not the first thing that you think about when you hear the word meditation. However, today's special guest has a whole different take on what it means to get centered and reach a new level of self-awareness. Speaker, author, and creative artist Pastor Fred Lynch has been involved in ministry for over 35 years in multiple roles as a youth pastor, rap artist, evangelist, lead pastor, mentor, and spiritual coach. At the age of 18, Fred helped found one of the first gospel rap acts known as P.I.D, Preachers in Disguise, and went on to record 6 albums. He is the author of The Script, an artistic translation of the Gospel of John in rap. Currently, Fred travels and speaks nationally, to include speaking in public schools nationwide for Rachel's Challenge, informing and inspiring students to live a life of care and compassion while resisting bullying, as well as connecting with a large community weekly online. Today on the Chat and Chew Show, Fred shares the meaning behind his new project called The Sacred Hum, where hip-hop meets meditation, providing an online resource that offers practical guided meditations to assist people with stress, anxiety, depression, and pain. Whether it's speaking in public schools, performing in churches and camps, or mentoring others, Fred engages leaders for greater focus and effectiveness through discipleship, coaching, and leadership development. Fred lives in Dallas, Texas with his wife of 30 years and has just finished co-producing a documentary called Mic Drop, The Culture of Christian Hip Hop. Chat Tribe, you are truly in for a treat today as we discuss the truth about meditation. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And as Betty mentioned, we have a great episode for you today. Apparently, we have an old bestie of Betty and Woods. We have Pastor Fred Lynch with us. Welcome.
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good.
We are. How are you?
I'm on top of the world. I'm a happy camper, man. Life is good. I'm grateful.
On top of the world.
Yeah.
Like, how does it look up there? Like, what can you?
The atmosphere is real thin. But you know what? That's like it's a fine line, because either you're on top of the world or you're 6 feet deep. That's the way I look at it. I am not 6 feet deep. I am on top of this planet. I'm on top of the world. I'm grateful.
Nice.
Before we dive into questioning and finding out what's happening, are you familiar with Enneagram?
Yes, I am.
Do you know your number?
I'm a 7.
I was gonna say, I knew it.
I'm a 7. I can't get away from it.
So for you guys who don't know what Enneagrams are, it's a personality typing system, and 7s are this happy, everything's gonna work out, I'm on top of the world type of person.
Yeah. It's not like, look at that cloud. It's like, oh, look at that silver lining.
Yeah. So that's good. So, and you're married, but so before we dive in, what is your wife's number?
Oh gosh, we've done it before, but oh man, I'm trying to remember. I want to say a 4 or a 6.
Okay.
I'm thinking I often say 6, but she has not, like, she's like, yeah, numbers. I am who I am. I'm a DN. That's what I am. She is a DN. That's totally what she is.
Right. Good. Cool. Well, like Roxy mentioned, we are old besties from back in the day. So Fred and a group of guys put together one of the first Christian, back then it was called rap. Now it's more like hip hop group.
Yeah.
your group? Tell us the name of the group.
Sure. The name of our group is called P.I.D, Preachers in Disguise, P.I.D, which the funny story about that is I did not know at the time. We just was kids from the hood, and we started rapping on the streets, and we bring our drum machines and our turntables out and like plug into the street lamp or whatever, get a generator, and we do outreaches, and kids would start coming around from all over, and then we start preaching and they'd start filtering out. And so we start rapping again and they'd start coming in. So we kind of coined the name that we're preaching in rapping disguise. So we're rappers, but we're really preachers. Preachers in disguise is where it came from. The funny thing I did not know was that PID is actually a medical term. It's a term for sexually transmitted disease. So it's in the medical community, it stands for pelvic inflammatory disease. So we was hot.
For real.
Right. A whole different way.
Wow.
And so I have some people from the medical community and a minister that approached me. It was actually Josh McDowell. He was like, "Do you know what that stands for?" I was like, "Yeah, preachers in disguise, you know, whoop, whoop, you know, just being a hood kid, a hood rat." And he was like, "No, baby, no, it stands for something else."
Oh my gosh. Now, was there a secular group called PID also too, like a rap, like a hard rock kind of group?
No, it was a secular group. Well, they started out as a Christian, and they still are a Christian, but they got a lot of fame in the secular world. It was POD.
Yeah. Oh, POD.
And I think it was payable on demand or payable on death or something like that. I forgot what it stood for. They started out with another Christian indie label. And I remember when they first started, they was like, "Hey, bro, do you think we can, we're close to your name?" And we were like, "Go ahead." They blew up and did further than we ever did. They were amazing. They're good, some good guys, man. They still out there touring. They're still doing their thing.
What? Yeah, that's crazy. That's so funny with with you guys. I can remember, we were just talking before we started recording that we saw you. We were in the audience, me and my family. Well, me and Elwood back then. And we were looking up on stage, and then here come these rappers, Christian rappers, which was so interesting, at a event called the Soul Liberation event.
Soul Liberation event. That was in Minneapolis, and it was great. And I think like the people that booked us also booked like the cathedrals the same day. So the cathedral is like this a cappella Southern gospel group. So they were singing, and we got along good. We got along good. So we were doing our thing. They were doing their thing, and we just all had fun and rocked out there. And that's when, we met you guys, and the life has not been the same for us at all. We heard about what you guys were doing urban street level. We skipped up all y'all tapes. It was tapes back then.
I know.
And we was bumping y'all tapes all over the country. Love it, man.
Okay, so when I hear y'all talk about music, like when y'all started, it seems so organic, so like, like go out in the street and just like really touch the people. And now everything is so digital. How do you compare the experience for you as artists from back then to now?
That's a good question. It's a different world. One of the things like that we wanted as artists back then is distribution. We wanted to be able to get to everybody, as much people as we can. We kind of all felt, and I definitely felt this with Urban Street Level. I felt it with ourselves as well. It's like we have something that is worth listening to. We have something that's quality. We have something that competes with what's going on out there in the world. But you had these middlemen that were like, is the sound what's going on? That's what's going on out there. They were the tastemakers, I guess you could say. And that was sometimes, is it going too strong with Christianity and doctrine, and they wanted you to water it down? All these type of, little obstacles that you have to jump over to get through to these middlemen to get to the masses. So the beauty of what the digital world is that it leveled that playing field so that, you could come up with an idea nowadays in your closet, and by the end of the day, fully produce that bad boy and put it out there. And now, hundreds of thousands, don't put it on TikTok, millions of people, can hear and accept and embrace your idea, your musical expression, all within the matter of 24 hours. That back then, that was a matter of 24 months. You'd have an idea and then you put it out, and then they'd have to go through and get, everything from, we got to get the right photo shoot, for the album and all that kind of stuff. By the time your album came out, as an artist, you're already on to something else. You're on to the next thing, so it was very frustrating, to say the least. But that's what's beautiful now, is that you can just get your stuff out. Now, the other side of that too is that you also, now the market is flooded, and it's flooded with stuff that, it's like, that's really an idea, and that's an idea worth sharing, That you bees in the trap, you be bees in the trap, is that what we want to really? That's what we, okay. But it's flooded. That's where we at now. So
yeah, crazy.
That's true. Oh, go ahead, baby.
Good.
Oh, and so you have a project out, Sacred Hum, now, right?
yeah,
And that's out released digitally.
It's released digitally. Yeah, so it's an idea that's spread all over. You can get it all digital platforms, from iTunes to Amazon to Spotify. So all of those platforms, it's out there.
So tell us about Sacred Hum. Like, what does Sacred Hum mean? And then what's behind the album?
Sure. The Sacred Hum is that same concept. For a while, I had thought, and I played off of the idea of Brother Lawrence's. This is an old Christian classic book. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on the internet. It's called Practicing the Presence of God. And Brother Lawrence was actually a cook for a monastery back like in the 14th century. Okay. So he was not a monk. He came as a cook. He just wanted to make food for the monks. But since he was in a monastery, he was like, I might as well pray, right? So he started a practice of prayer. But, you have to get back and cook for these monks who were busy praying. So he just kind of, instead of, here's a simple concept, instead of saying, amen, God, I'll talk to you in a couple of hours because I got to go to work, he just took that prayer into his work. And he would cook and pray and hang out and pray and talk and go on break and pray and come back and pray. And before he knew it, he caught something. He caught this flow, this wave. And all of the monks were like, how are you doing what you're doing? Now, here's the cook for the monks, like going deeper than the monks. And so he just wrote down some ideas and stuff. And the gist of his book was simply, don't even say amen. Just keep on talking with it. This would be like, okay. And the majority of your day was like, instead of going back to God, like, and starting all over again, into the, oh, most gracious Father, you're so high, I can't get over you. So low, I can't get under you. So wide, I can't get around you. No, don't start all that over again. Just start with, as we were saying, and just keep the conversation going. And as you do that, the more you do it, the better you get. The better you get, the more you do it. And before you know it, you'll realize a reality that God is always around. God is always with us. It's just a matter of us entering back into that zone, right? So the Sacred Hum is about us discovering that zone what already is within us. Is practicing that presence. It's that hum, that strike. We in the Black church, we call it, that hum, that you go there and you find that place. I had an old line in one of my songs that I said, I finally figured out about what grandma used to shout. Now I sit and can't wait till the Holy Ghost turned the party out. Okay. And what I was saying was that I didn't know, but my great grandmother used to walk around the house all the time humming, and I didn't know she was creating a sanctuary between her and God that at any time she tapped into. And so my goal, my heart, my hope is to recover that specifically for the hip hop generation world. I have these two very endearing communities that I'm connected to and a part of. And one of it is the hip hop community, and another one is the meditation community. And so I'm kind of in the Sacred Hum saying, hey, meditation community, meet hip hop, and hip hop meet meditation. I think you guys will get along really, really well. And so that's my idea with Sacred Harmony.
It's so interesting hearing this because, in every tradition there is meditation, but
Yep.
usually meditation is approached with this very, kind of solemn type of music with it, or water falling or, something like that. And think about hip hop to add that to meditation. I just think it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you, Betty. For the longest, and I think this is just some of our social constructing that we've developed. I remember years ago when I was in Bible school, and one of my fellow students, she was sharing that she felt she heard before that, when you play music, the more strings and woodwinds and those type of instruments and sounds, they tend to lend to more of a spiritual concept. And she said, and the more rhythmic and the beats and boom bop bop boom boom bop bop bop, she says that's disruptive, and I said, baby girl, where'd you get that from? And some of that was within the idea. Some of it is Africa versus Europe. It's like the more the syncopated beats and rhythms, that it's just a little bit too far out there. It's more, and she said it's more fleshly, and I said it's fleshly, but even if it is fleshly, didn't the Bible say, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me? Bless his holy name. There is something about like entering into a place from maybe a back door, entering into a place from a different perspective, that it's like, oh, I didn't realize, God, that's yours too. He's like, it's always been mine. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the party. I was waiting for you to get here. It's always been mine. And, specifically hip hop, there's a cool book that's about the history of hip hop, and it's called Can't Stop, Won't Stop. And it talks about the lady that owned Sugar Hill Records. She was connected to some people that before they recorded the like blockbuster hit, Rapper's Delight, before she went into record it, she went, and you can find this is documented, she went to a tent meeting, like those old school tent revivals. A friend invited her to a tent revival, and the preacher that was preaching, quote unquote, I know this might get too deep for some folks, but called her out and said, here, I want to share something with you. And the words she talks about, she said that this preacher told me that you're involved with something that is going to touch and change the world one day. And it's part of God's plan. And she was like, she didn't pay too much attention, whatever, this crazy preacher called, and asked, and he prayed for her and whatnot. Then, of course, weeks later, she goes in with the Sugar Hill Gang and they record Rapper's Delight.
Can you just talk a little bit about why even this is all important, meditation and that kind of thing?
What meditation does is it opens up an awareness, not just to everything around you, it really opens up an awareness to what's going on in you. So all of a sudden, I start recognizing places where I got angry, I got upset, I got defensive. And the next step, in my opinion, of meditation is to learn how to really be compassionate and gentle with yourself. So when I see my own mess, then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I see my angers. I see my like lack of patience with my friend or with my spouse. And I understand why I have a lack of patience, and I can be gentle with myself and say, okay, you need to just chill. You need to rest. Half of the stuff that we do is because we either hangry, we're both hungry and angry, we're tired. And when we learn to do that self-care, when I'm taken care of well, I can take care of everything else around me well.
I think a lot of people want peace, but they don't realize that it also comes from the vulnerability that you have to like let go and say, this is what's wrong. This is what I'm doing wrong and all that, and accept that. Because a lot, like, I feel like in culture, you hear a lot, oh, you just need to man up. Like, you're doing this wrong, just man up. And that, and even just to think of that, man up means to just do better. Like, forget how you're feeling. Like, simplicity of being hangry. It's like a basic human need, but like, it's like, we're just like conditioned to think, forget what your personal needs are, just man up, get it right, fix it.
Just knuckle it through, just push through. And as a man, I often do that. And so if I could tell you a vulnerable side of me, is there are so many times that I do feel fear, that I feel threatened, or that I feel a threat coming against me or my family. And there has to be a place, especially your home, where you could take the armor off. Like, one of the things that sealed the deal for me, about meditation, open moment, vulnerable part of my life and my wife's life, is that our 25th year, my wife and I, we separated. We separated for 9 months. And what happened basically is that right at our 25th year, our daughter had graduated and our son graduated from high school. So we faced this thing called empty nest. And we wasn't ready for it. Empty nest cold-cocked us. He was not ready. And here's what's a trip, was that all of the tools to get to 25 years, they worked, but in a sense, they were almost like they were rusty. They were not calibrated to work 25 plus. So anything after 25, because, and much of what we had realized, we didn't realize that we were living so much just to keep that sense of peace and keep that sense of hope and optimism for the kids. So we were doing it for the kids. So once the kids got out, we turned and looked at each other like, who you is, and we got into it, like, life got hard. Before we knew it, we had that negative sentiment override. Anything my wife would do for me, I'm like, what are you doing this for? Anything I do for her, she was like, yeah, but what are you doing this for? And we were still having our dates. We had this date night that we just religiously kept, but some of our date nights was, we just argue. We go to eat and argue. And it was horrible. It was painful. When we separated, and for both of us, we came from broken homes. So that was, in a sense, that sense of being married for 25 years, hardly ever arguing. That was, in a sense, our salvation, our sense of saying, God, we know you love us because look what we've done. There's our trophy. And so when we were separated, I was just devastated. I wish that type of pain on no man, my worst enemy, of separating from the person that you love the most, that you loved and given your life for, and two. But the one thing that held me together through the whole thing, I could say and point back, was that I made, by then, I made the decision to daily meet with God in a quiet place of meditation. And that meditation kept my mind. And it brought me back. It rescued both of us to the point that we were able to, because what we found out we were doing, instead of turning toward each other, we were turning away from each other. When we were confined in a closed place where we couldn't turn away, we were turning on each other. And we weren't turning back toward each other face to face and heart to heart. And in that place of meditation, especially starting to be gentle with myself and understand that I can reflect God's love to me, for me, within me, starting. And then allow that reflection to go out to those that I love the most, that's easiest to love. And this was the third one, even to those that are hardest to love. The love is bigger than my capacity. Like, getting back to that place of quietness, it worked on my capacity. My capacity was broken. That's all. Loved my wife. My capacity was broken. And there may be some brothers out there, there may be some sisters out there that just can relate to what I'm saying, where it's just, I love you, but right now my capacity is broken. And all the love I get, it just seeps through these cracks. And it's like, I thought I was ready, and I got with you, and we started talking about the bills, and everything just seeped through. And I'm going at you now, and you going at me. And it's like, sitting in quietness started sealing up those broken parts. And now I have the capacity. I can hold your heart again. And I can give my heart back to you, that you can hold it because you have the capacity. That's what meditation did for us. And before you know it, y'all, ladies, I am a fanboy of meditation. I don't care anybody say. When I get in God's presence, I get my mind right. And then I go back to my wife, and she sees that my love for her is real, is tangible, is there. And so that's what saved us. So
wow. Fred, I could tell you are such an artist, the way you paint so many of these pictures. I mean, you said some things that just is like, wow, I could see that. So this is really fantastic. So where can people find your music?
Sure. You can go to probably quickest and simplest is go to sacredhum.com. Sacredhum.com. All one word, lowercase. Or you can go to, all of the digital spots from Apple to iTunes and Spotify and even YouTube. You just go to YouTube, type in Sacred Hum, Fred Lynch, boom, it's there. If you don't remember the last name, just Sacred Hum Fred. You'll get there.
Now, do you lead groups in this? I know you're an international speaker where you go out and you give talks and you're a preacher, but do you lead like meditation?
Yes, I do. We do. Every Sunday I do something that I call a 15-minute retreat. And the idea, and the podcast usually is a live. It's like a live Facebook Live. I do it sometimes on Instagram. So you could just look me up on Facebook, Fred Lynch, Sacred Hum, and you'll find some of that where I'll do, and I tape them. I put them up there, and we talk about meditation. So I'll have guests on. We'll talk about meditation for 5 or 10 minutes, 15, some at the most, and then we'll actually do it, because it is awkward, it is different. So you can imagine a person that's not done it before now looking into their phone or looking at the computer for 15 minutes, being still and quiet. Like just all that's going through your mind that you got to quiet your mind. My kids gonna think I'm crazy, and my wife gonna be like, "What you doing now?" And all. But it's like once you get past all of that and you find that sacred hum, and all of a sudden you start getting what the Bible called that balm of Gilead, all that's within that zone, that place with God, you get addicted. you want to come back again and again and again.
Do you have to be a Christ follower to participate in your Facebook Live, or can you just be?
You could just be. That's the only thing. You just have to be. You have to just be. And my hope is that, like, I personally follow Christ. I'm a Christ follower. I'm non-apologetically. I love who Christ and what Christ has done in my life. So I advocate that. But those that are not Christ followers, I've developed kind of my motto is to make the sacred positively contagious.
Good. Now I know you're on social media, so where would people find you?
Sure. I've kind of tried to simplify all of my social medias to simply Hey Fred Lynch. So if you're on Facebook, you could just hit Hey Fred Lynch, and you'll find me there. Instagram, Hey Fred Lynch. Twitter, Hey Fred Lynch. I'm trying to get into I mentioned TikTok. And I got about 2 or 3 on TikTok. TikTok scares me, y'all. I'll be honest. Let me TikTok is big. It's like you hit one thing else on 1 million people. And I'm like, I don't know if I want y'all 1 million people all up in my life every day. But no, seriously, yeah. So Hey Fred Lynch, just hit me up at Hey Fred Lynch.
Cool. Well, Fred, this was such an honor to have you here.
Thank you guys.
We definitely got to get you back, because you dropped like 1,000 nuggets.
It's just fun to do. It's fun to do. And I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for offering just these guys, ladies, these are resources that are helping people in relationships. That's all. Everybody's just we're on the edge, just saying, I need something or somebody to just tell me it's going to be all right. If I kill everybody in the house, in the room. Why'd you kill them? They was in the room. Gotta go. But you guys are helping us with this. This is so healing Thank you. I'm a fan. Thank you so much for what you do. Please keep on doing it more and more. We need it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Roxanne, do you want to tell folks where they can find us?
Yeah, sure. You can find us at Chat and Chew Show on Instagram and Facebook. And if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe wherever the button is. And then also hit the bell if you want to be notified when our new episodes come out. But thank you. I also just want to say thank you so much, Pastor Fred, for coming out here and joining us.
Zoom coming out on these internet streets.
Right. And for those who want to check out his music, believe it or not, the hip hop is actually relaxing. There's like an actual hum in the music. So it's really cool. Definitely check it out. Definitely get your meditation on. And then also I wanted to say I appreciate the nuggets drop, because I know so many people are going through relationship struggles during COVID, having to be stuck together. So your story is like very inspiring to know that people can come out of that, just relearning each other, so to speak.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it. And if there's nothing else, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by the Chat and Chew Company, host Betty Jones and co-host Roxanne Brood. Today's producer is Danisha Norwood Smith. Original theme music by Elwood Jones and Roxanne Brood.